Thank you to Squarespace for sponsoring this video, the place to go online and create your own beautiful website. Hey guys, this is Florian from Off2Lens, and today I want to talk about the lenses that I use with the Pocket 6K. It's a question that keeps coming back since I've started posting videos with the camera. So in this video I will be talking about 3 lenses that I have used with the BMPCC 6K and why I like shooting with them, as well as their pros and cons. These lenses are from 3 different brands, but all EF and are all under 1500 USD. Don't forget to subscribe for more videos like this one. Also feel free to check out the similar video that I made for the BMPCC 4K a while ago. So let's get into it. The first one is a Canon 16-35 f4 IS. When I first got the Pocket 6K, I wanted the lens to basically replicate the range and look of the Lumix 12-35 that I used to use on a Pocket 4K. Turned out it was quite difficult to get that range and specs. Either you have to spend way too much, or you don't get the IS, or you have to get EFS lenses and the quality isn't really there all the time. So I decided to get the Canon 16-35 f4 IS, and a few reasons for that. First of all, the range. So 16-35 on the Pocket equals to roughly 25-55. That depends on the resolution as well as the crops that you're shooting at. That is why having 16mm comes in handy, especially when you're shooting 120 fps. IS. The other big reasons for me to get this lens was the IS. Shooting on the Pocket can be tricky as it is quite a light camera, and you can easily get micro shakes when you shoot handheld, so IS helps a lot. Most of the videos that you saw were shot on that lens with IS on. The lens is also quite light, which is great when traveling and shooting in general. It is weather sealed, which is always nice, and the overall build quality is really good as well. I also like the focusing ring. The lens is also full frame, and as you know I shoot a lot of stills, so being able to use this lens on a 5D4 is quite a nice plus. And finally, the price. This lens is around 1000 USD, which gives you quite a lot for your money. Obviously, the lens is not perfect, so 35mm in some cases might not be enough. f4 is also not the fastest lens you can get, and it might not be enough for the kind of shootings that you do. Personally, I like it, and in my opinion you can still get that shallow depth of field thanks to the Super 35 sensor. While I think that 1000 USD is great value, this might not be shared by some people since you can get a decent EFS lens for much cheaper. So the Canon 16-35 f4 IS is the lens that I use most of the time on a Pocket 6K because it can do pretty much everything. If I had to pick one lens for the Pocket, that would be it. The range is great, so you can shoot a large variety of content. The size and portability makes it the perfect lens for travel or shooting in general. The second lens is a Sigma 18-35 1.8. This lens is a beast. I use it all the time on the C200 and I absolutely love it. I've been shooting with this lens for 2 years now on a regular basis, so I'm very much used to it, and I would say that it is probably my favorite lens. Now you might be thinking, why am I including this lens since the Canon 16-35 almost has the same range? There are a few reasons for that. First, the lens really feels like you have 3 different primes into one. The build quality is amazing, it's seriously built like a tank, and the focus ring is really big and smooth and feels great. The 1.8 makes it perfect for low light situations or for extreme shallow depth of field shots. This is a lens that I usually use for interviews and indoor shooting. I also love the look of Sigma lenses in general. Plus for 800 USD you can't really go wrong with it. There's a reason why this lens is so popular. Obviously the lens is not perfect. The lens is quite heavy, almost as heavy as the Pocket itself. Also doesn't have IS, and that can be a problem if you're more of a run and gun type of shooter and you need to shoot handheld most of the time. Depending on the resolution and crop that you're shooting at, 18mm might not be wide enough for you. And the third and last lens is a Laowa 24mm probe lens. I'm including this lens because when paired with the BMPCC 6K, it can make for the most interesting shots. Hands down the craziest and most fun lens I've ever used. It's sharp, has a nice shallow depth of field even though it's f14. We use the lens in places where the macro capabilities would come in handy. The best part is the lens allows you to get really close to your subject. We recently used it on a short documentary about beekeeping, and it allowed us to get the close-up shots of the bees that we needed. The lens is far from perfect though, and shooting handheld with it proved to be a lot harder than expected. Once it is on a tripod though, it works great. The size makes some situations a bit awkward, and it's also not super cheap, coming at 1500 USD. But when you think what it can do with it, I can actually justify the price. It's not the lens that I would use all the time, but it allows you to get the shots that you couldn't with any other lens. Being able to get nature and food shots that close, and in 6K when paired with the Pocket, it's pretty amazing. As mentioned before, this video is sponsored by Squarespace. We have been using Squarespace for more than 5 years now. After weeks of searching for the best platform to create our website, we decided to go with them as it allowed us to showcase our work exactly the way we wanted. Since we are filmmakers and photographers, we needed our content to be the main focus and for it to be updated quickly and often. It was really easy for us to create banners and galleries for all of our travel content as well as display our videos in a clean and effective way. Squarespace is easy to use, there's plenty of templates to choose from, and on top of that you get 24/7 customer service when you need help. Go to squarespace.com for free trial, and when you're ready to launch, go to squarespace.com/off2lens to save 10% on your first purchase of a website or domain. There you have it guys, hopefully this was helpful to you. Don't forget to subscribe and let me know what are your favorite lenses for the Pocket 6K. Thanks for watching and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.